Hi, I'm Steve Plumb, Editor-in-Chief of SME Media, here today with Fadi Abro, Global Director Automotive for Stratasys. And we're at Rivian's Center in Plymouth, Michigan. Just did a tour, kind of an open house. A lot of your machines here. You partnered with them early on. The company's only 5 years old or so as far as production-wise. Tell us a little bit about the partnership.
Yeah, thanks. I hope you enjoyed the tour as much as we did. Thanks for being here today, and thanks for having me. The partnership is great because Rivian is an exciting young company, and they're doing a lot of different things very fast. So they're producing vehicles like this, the delivery van you see behind us, they're producing the trucks, they're producing the SUVs, and they're trying to get to market super quickly. They're going to be launching an R2, they're trying to get to market super quickly, right? Notice the theme. So they are working fast and they're being very innovative. They started working with us back in 2018, 2019 in the design studio side, where they got some of our equipment for the early concept designs, the things that help you sort of develop what the feel of the brand is going to look like. And then shortly after they went to production, they decided, hey, we need to look at additive manufacturing as a production support tool. And that's mostly what Plymouth does here, which is use our equipment to make parts that help the manufacturing space, whether that's normal or eventually in Georgia.
So Stratasys, one of the early pioneers in additive, and one of the big things now is commercialization, hitting scale, making a profit on all of this. But some of the work that's being here is really important still. The early days, rapid prototyping, of course, was the precursor of additive. So tell us a little bit about the difference between prototyping in additive and production in additive.
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's one a lot of people have because they're trying to understand where this technology fits, the additive technology, where does it fit? And really in automotive, it fits in three separate buckets. I always describe them as product development. This is the prototype stuff that we're all used to. You make one of one. And then there's the tooling and manufacturing support bucket, and then there's the production part and aftermarket part bucket. So when you look at companies like Rivian, General Motors, Toyota, they are leaning into additive extremely heavy on the manufacturing support bucket because there are tons of one-off fixtures and jigs and things that enable the production so you can get more Rivians out the door, you get more delivery vans out the door, you can get more Toyota Tundras out the door. You print the tools that enable you to get more vehicles out the door. These could be assembly aids, forming aids, jigs, check fixtures, end-of-arm tools. These are all the things that are super prevalent inside the factory. Rivian just mentioned that about 50% of the requests that they get for their additive equipment is tooling. Right. The other 50 is mostly prototype, and then there's some production in there where they need to bridge the gap or do those kinds of things. But they're very focused on enabling the manufacturing of the vehicles in a more effective and innovative way.
So working so closely with a company like Rivian, especially at the onset of the company, what types of things have you learned over the past few years, with the R1 and the trucks, and now moving into the R2, and how they're utilizing you, and what you've learned from them to take to other customers?
Yeah, certainly Rivian has been a great partner when it comes to teaching us what our technology is capable of, if you can believe that. Because again, young, innovative, move fast, break things type of company, so they're pushing our technology to the absolute limit in every scenario that we have. Now, why that's great is it kind of allows us to stress test the equipment that we already have out there, but they've also become a great partner for beta testing some of our equipment. So at Rapid last year, we launched the Neo 800 Plus that was beta tested by Rivian right here in this building. So they had the previous generation of the 800, our SLA equipment. The new version is twice as fast. The new version is twice as fast, and we said, okay, let's put that to the test. Is it really twice as fast? Is a customer who's printing a whole bunch of different things all the time, putting stress on the machine, going to see that same result? And lucky for us, they did. But they're such a good partner. Our powder machine, the one that they have here, is the first one that was installed in North America, the SAF system, still running today. Again, stress tested us, helped us develop a process that makes sure that our equipment is manufacturing ready.
Of course, Rivian is all electric. The industry is ramping up a little bit slower than some people expected, but are there unique things in the EV space that are applicable to additive?
So on the whole, there are some differences, but once you zoom into the manufacturing process, there really isn't. You're still putting a vehicle together, right? The propulsion system may be different, but you still need to assemble that vehicle in the most effective way possible. There's some small variances. When it comes to battery handling, non-conductive tooling is great, so that's a great way to go from metal to polymer for tooling that maybe interacts with the battery, where you can protect your operators. The volumes are a little bit lower, so maybe you have an option to 3D print and use components while you ramp up that scale that you just talked about. But I will say, on the whole, the assembly of the vehicle, the manufacturing of the process, the prototyping, it's all fairly similar.
So we're here in early December. What's next for Stratasys in 2026?
We're going to continue to focus on these manufacturing applications at Stratasys, because that's where the scale is. Like, Rivian is expanding and has scaled with us in the manufacturing space over the past 5 years, but they're one company that has started their journey 5 years ago. There's a lot of suppliers out there that have yet to start that journey. So our focus is on the rest of the segment. The supply base, companies like GM, Rivian, Toyota are helping us flow down this excitement to their suppliers, and that's where our focus is.
Great, we'll look forward to seeing what